has 7 points. I will explain the history and the meaning later. But the one that we are going to make is simple. It's going to be 5 points. And let's review the materials. So just in case you don't have something, you go and run to pick it up. Okay, so I will show you all the materials that I have here. Okay, so we have a couple of clothes of trapo, as we say in Mexico. Piece of paper like letter size. This is just to measure. A bowl with water, like a big one, because here's where we are going to put our newspaper, and also will help us to clean our hands. And one of these empty container, one recycled paper. You can use your grocery store bag, paper bag, or some soft cardboard or newspaper or office paper to reuse. One balloon about 9 to 12 inches. And tissue paper, I suggest from 6 to 7 different colors to have a very colorful piñata. One of these metallic paper, this is gonna be useful for cover our cones. One tape and one transparent tape. If you don't have some of these, we can do just with this. Newspaper, you just need one big sheet or maybe 2 or 3 smalls. And one marker or a pen. And finally, one poster cardboard that we will use for the cones. This depends how big will be your piñata. The one that we are going to do is small, so in this case we will use one, but if you want to make a bigger one, you may use 2 of these. So everybody has their material with them? Mm-hmm. I think so. So let's go and do the glue. For the glue, you'll need a half cup of flour and 3 cups of water ready. Mm-hmm. So let's go to my kitchen and I'll show you how to do the glue.
All right.
So everybody goes to their kitchen. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And if anyone has picked up a library materials bag for this project, we have included construction paper rather than the metallic paper for this project.
That's perfect. Every kind of decorated paper can be used on this. Mm-hmm. So let me switch. Okay. No, that's the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
Nope, that's me.
Do you have a camera man today, Gabriela?
Yes, I have my cameraman here. Thank you. Dryer.
Nah.
Okay.
Move.
So here.
Okay.
Here. Okay. So here we have one half of cup of flour, and here we have, sorry, the half of 1 cup, and here 1 cup of water. And here in the stove, we have 2 cups of water in the pot. So I'm gonna turn on and I will wait this boil with high fire. And while that gets boiled, this is not. Okay, while that pot gets boiled, I'm gonna put this flour together with the cold water or the water that we have here. And I'm gonna just move. And this will help to remove all the little balls that we have here before we add this to the boiling water. So just be sure that you can remove all the little balls that you don't want that on your glue. This glue, in Spanish, we call engrudo. Engrudo is just a mixture of flour and water. And it's very easy to do. You'll take just the time while it's boiling the water and maybe 1 minute more, and that's it. So just be sure. You can press your spoon against the wall of your container to remove all those little balls. This is like making atole. If somebody doesn't know what is atole, it's a hot beverage flavor, and we do with flour and with fruit flavor. Could be strawberry atole or vanilla or chocolate, etc.
That sounds delicious. Gabriella, I think we have a question from Diana here. Let me.
Sorry.
Hi, Diane.
Oh, one.
Yeah.
Oh. She and I keep pressing the same buttons. There we go.
I think we missed the amount of water that is boiling.
One cup.
This boiled water is 2 cups.
2 cups? Okay.
Yeah.
And then 1 room temperature gets mixed with the flour.
This is just water from your, when you open the
faucet.
Room temperature? And that's 1 cup as well?
The direct water? Yeah, this is 1 cup of water.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
This is cup of water.
Got it. Thank you so much. Sorry for interrupting.
You're welcome.
Great question, Diana. Great question, Diana. Thank you. And
thank you for your
I'm also writing along some instructions in the chat group too, to keep things clarified as Gabriella goes along as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So my stove is very fast, as you can see. Now it's just going to start to boil soon. And I have to have 1 big spoon ready to mix as soon as this starts to boil. So I'm just waiting and just mix, mix, and mix. This is ready to, you can see it doesn't have any kind of little ball, so it's okay. It's okay.
Okay. That's how everyone's water is. Is everyone's water boiling?
Okay. Do you have your water boiling? Someone else?
It looks like quite a few people have things prepared already, some people are still mixing their flour and water mixture together.
Okay.
If anyone would like us to pause or wait a few minutes to go on to the next step, just please write in the chat box. Again, you can find the access to the Zoom group chat at the bottom of your screen. There's a little box that says chat. If you press that, then you can write into that chat group and I can see it.
Okay, thank you, Lacey, for following.
You're welcome. I see some people are still mixing, working those lumps out of their mixture. What did you call what is the name of this flour and water mixture, Gabriella?
Engrudo.
Engrudo. How do I spell that?
E-N-G-R-U-D-O. Engrudo.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I can call engrudo from now, right? Instead of glue. Okay, so now it's boiling. I'm gonna add now because if not, it's gonna disappear my water.
Okay.
Okay, so I add here.
Cuidado.
Cuidado. Mucho cuidado. Carefully. And then I start to mix here, and like this, when I start to mix this, you turn down your fire low fire. Yep. And just be sure to remove until the bottom, because if not, your pot will be burned in the bottom part. So just mix very well and pay attention on this because when the engrudo starts to bubble, that means that the engrudo is starting to be cooked, and that's when we have to turn off the fire and the engrudo is ready. So now it takes just maybe about 1 minute, not more. Mixing. And you'll see that the texture of the glue or the engrudo gets less liquid and more like glue.
It's okay if there's chunks in it.
Yeah, if you see some little balls, it's okay. How do you call lumps? If you see some little lumps in there, don't worry. Any way you can use it, but it's better if you don't have them. A little bit more. Just be sure, like, to do with the spoon like this on the bottom. You have to be removing and removing, moving and moving the spoon. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so now it's ready. And I am going to use these trapos or fabric or cloths to move this in a different place to have it ready. So when it's very hot, you don't want to touch it, of course. So you use your spoon to put it in another container. Preference is not of plastic because this is very hot. And if you have kids, maybe the adults have to do it.
Does the mixer have to boil?
Yeah, the mixer, just a little bit. When you see the first bubbles, you turn off. So we will need maybe for the piñata, maybe like about 4 big spoons. That would be, or 5. Let's put it 5. 5 big spoons to this other container. And this will help to be not so hot. So we are going to let it rest next to our table. And now we're going to back to the table. And I'm going to see if there are some questions in there in the midterm.
Great.
Here. Okay. I'm going to switch to the camera on the computer. Okay. This can.
So Gabby is moving from her phone's camera to her computer camera, so we can see her now from her computer point of view as she's adjusting and setting up on her table there.
So you can see me here?
Yes, we can see. Just getting all set up there.
Okay. So next step, we are going Wait a second. Next step, we are
Gabby?
going to-
Gabriella, can I ask you a question here first?
Yeah.
Very good. And I think maybe if you could lower your camera just a little bit, we can see only half of the table. I can tell you when. Oh, she's adjusting.
If I put my supplies here.
Yes, that looks good. We can't see your head, but once you're sitting, I think, yeah, yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
There.
This is high tech, folks.
So next step is leave your engrudo next to the table because we will need it now. What we need is the newspaper.
Gabriella, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we have a question here about the flower part, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
We are just asking if you could review the steps by steps just to make sure it's clear. And maybe you could let us know how thick the mixture needs to be.
Okay, the engrudo is just a half of cup of flour and 1 cup of like normal water.
Mm-hmm.
You mix that on a container and then you put 2 cups of water to boil. And when it's boiling, you put the mixture to the boiling water. Then you start mixing until it starts to bubble or to boil. And when that happens, when your water is boiling, you allow the fire and then you add the mixture and then that mixture boiling and when that starts boiling, you just turn it off your fire.
Mm-hmm.
And you pass your engrudo in this another container. And about the thickness, it's more like like this, like not so liquid. I mean, it could be like more liquid, but will take more time to dry. So that is no problem if you add a little bit more of water. And if you add a little bit less of water, it gets like more sticky and maybe it's not so easy to put it on your paper. So the best way or the best engrudo is when you can do this with your spoon and it's kind of a thick soup or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's still like if you touch it, well, now it's very hot, but it's kind of sticky and but it's not so heavy. It's like in between.
Thank you, Gabriella.
Yes, you're welcome. So next material that we need is the trapo or the cloth, the newspaper. This could be like I told you, like 1 big or 2 or 3 smaller, like this one. And your balloon. One container like this one. Your balloon will be from 9 inches to 12. It's okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the big bowl of water. There are some questions. I have seen some questions there. I don't know.
Gabriella, that was me writing out the directions again. So it's all in one large paragraph. And then also Mario has joined us. Hello, Mario.
Hello, Mario.
And if you could just keep your volume up so we can hear you, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Gabriela.
Okay, maybe I should put closer the computer. Can you hear me better there?
Yes, yeah, I see some people nodding their heads. Yeah,
Okay,
that's good.
thank you.
Yes.
So we have the big bowl of water. This is full of water. The balloon ready. Well, blow up your balloon like this size. You see, like my hand. It's gonna be small, not so big because of the time. If you want to do a big one, it's okay. It's up to you. But for the time, I'm going to do smaller. And just put it here in your container. And I'm gonna put it on the side that in order that you can see me. And here in the bowl, you start to break your newspaper in the long side, about 2 inches with every stripe, like this. See that your newspaper has like a thread where you can easily break it? Because if you do this, it's more difficult. So just go with the vertical line like this. And then in the half, and put them on the big bowl of water. Until you break everything.
Right, this is great. I can see a lot of people are ripping their paper and following right along. So this is really fun. We're really getting it going now, huh?
Yeah, this is very therapeutic step because you're kind of breaking paper. And I like it. So just put it like on the surface of your water. That will help to be more flexible and to be placed on your balloon. So I'm gonna move this container with my newspaper already cut. I'm gonna wait for you to finish. And put your balloon on your container. So I'm gonna wait everybody finish this step, okay? And you let me know.
Gabby, we have a question here. We're wondering how large do the strips of paper need to be? Do they need to be fairly wide or long?
More or less like one that you can manage, like maybe the half of the sheet. You can break everything and then you put it on the half.
Mm-hmm.
So more or less like this. Or I mean, if you put smaller, it's okay. Nothing happened. But the thing is that you can manage. Maybe for the kids could be good at this side.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because they can easily manage this. If you have big hands, maybe you can do bigger.
Nice. Great.
Okay.
And I see people are moving right along here, getting their paper wet and adding it onto their balloons.
Okay, so why we put in water and why we don't put in the glue? This is because having our first layer with just water help us to avoid when the balloon is, when the glue is getting dried, the glue kind of, and the balloon is getting like, you know, with less air, that could be pop, the balloon can pop. So in this way, we avoid to happen that, because the first layer is gonna be with water, and nothing happen if it's dry. So can I start the next step then? Everybody is in this step.
Yes, and Gabriela, we're not using any of the engrudo yet, right? We're only putting the paper in the water
Yeah.
and letting it soak for a little bit and then getting ready to put it on the balloon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Just about this, I told you like 2 inches or 1 inches.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So put the bottom of your balloon like that on the container. And then let's start to make our first layer of water. So you take 1 piece of newspaper cut and you paste it. And then you continue until you cover everything. So I'm gonna do it. You can see in the camera how I'm doing, like one next to the other, and try to press that in order that your newspaper gets very soft on your balloon. So just be sure that, I didn't say that, but be sure that under your balloon there is kind of a plastic or something to protect your table. I forgot to say that. But it's okay if your table gets dirty, nothing happens, just clean up. That's it. It's nothing. It's not danger. It's just water.
Gabby, I think everything's going really well. If you, when you're giving the instructions, could just project your voice a little bit more,
Okay.
would be great. Yeah.
I think I'm far from the computer, but I will try to speak louder.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And also, I am writing the instructions in the chat. So if anyone needs to double check on anything, just let me know. Or if you feel like you've missed something and you'd like Gabby to repeat it, you can just wave your hand at your screen or write it in the chat, and I'll be able to ask her your question.
Sure. Okay, so just continue drying, putting all your newspaper, just 1 layer. You don't need to put 2 layers, just 1. And when you get to this point, when it's near of the container, just put your balloon out and then continue pasting here. And you can put it backward. I think this is the funniest part for kids who likes to touch water and, and those things. So usually to make 1 piñata, it takes about 2 days because you need to let it dry. So that's why we make this workshop like in 2 days, because you'll see that you cannot continue like doing it until it gets dry, the first part.
So Gabriela, you're going with 1 layer, more or less, right now, around the entire balloon.
Yeah.
I see a lot of the class students are doing that. Looks like everything's going really well.
Great.
Yeah. Are you covering every part of it? Are you going to cover the tie of the balloon as well?
No, just leave it like this.
Okay, there'll be a small opening right around the tie of the balloon.
Yeah.
Why
Because
do you do that?
how I did.
Or sorry, why do you leave the bottom of the balloon
Oh,
open?
because we are going to hang from here. When it's done, we are going to tie the balloon like this in order that it gets dry. Because if we dry like this, when the reaction of the paper in the balloon,
Oh.
yeah. So,
So Gabriella's assistant has brought some models to show
so this
here.
is how our balloon will finish.
Uh-huh.
You'll see it's empty in the inside.
Yeah. Gabriella, sorry to interrupt you. Will you continue to hold it there so we can see the opening on the bottom?
Yeah.
Just pause. It'll give people a chance to really maybe take a pause from what they're doing and have a look.
So we will have something like this. And of course, the happiest thing of a piñata is filled with candies
Mm.
and tricks. So this
Uh-huh.
is gonna be full of candies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And how this is the next step. Well, we are going to do this tomorrow, but you can see this is nothing is inside. And our balloon is like this size, but with the cones will look bigger like this. And the reason that I leave the like this without covering is because I need to hang it from here.
Okay.
Okay. So when I have it covered with the water, I'm going to continue now with the glue. I think it's okay now. The glue is not so hot, and I'm touching it, and it's okay. So your glue must be like the same, like temperature uh, temperature warm. It's not so bad for your hands. It's not bad for your hands. And now let's go and take your recycled paper or your office reusing paper or whatever paper you have in your house. So I'm gonna go to pick it up.
And then class, when Gabby comes back, I'll ask her, there's Gabby. Okay, Gabby, I can see here that some people are still putting their newspaper on their piñatas yet.
Okay, so what I can do is to talk some of the history while everybody finish this step. Well, the piñatas, there are two versions of how they start. One is the Chinese in China. They used to make a celebration of the New Year with piñatas in form of cows, and they put it inside some grains or some tricks, and they cover with colorful paper to celebrate the New Year, Chinese New Year. And when Marco Polo, the Italian, he went to visit China, and then he saw that, and he brought that to Europe. And you know the history in Mexico, the Spaniards came and conquered Mexico. So when they arrived to Mexico, they wanted something to help them to evangelize the people in Mexico. So they use a piñata like part of uh, posadas. The posadas is a party, a celebration before Christmas, and in that season, so the missionaries brought that to Mexico, and also at the same time there is like a parallel history that tells us that the Mayans and the Mexicas have already used a pot, a clay pot, hanging from a rope. And I think I share one photo of that, Lacey, where
Yes.
the people, it's just a pot with a hang, and the Mexicas were hanging that, and they put some chocolate grains inside because the chocolate grains were very valuable for them. So they play, their game was to break it and to have blessing from the gods. Those were like the kind of the pots that
Mhm.
they used.
Gabriella, I'm sharing my screen right now that is sharing the picture of what the clay pots looked like. It's really incredible.
Yeah,
Um,
those were like the
mhm,
Mayans and
mhm.
the Mexicas made for.
So you're saying that they made these clay pots and they actually hung these up as well?
No,
No.
there are another kind of pots right now. Well, when I was child, we still were using clay pots. Not like that one. There is
Okay.
another photo of the actual pot,
Okay.
but there was a lot of accidents with our heads,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the children heads or the children knees.
Mhm.
So always when you go to the piñata and you jump to get the candies, you
Uh-huh.
finish all your knees. Or,
Yeah, I can just imagine that. Yeah.
yeah, so now there are some there are still some clay piñatas,
Mhm,
but the option now it's cardboard, so
mhm.
paper mache, so that make less dangerous for your knees and for your head. And well, the anyway, the like returning to the history, when the Spaniards arrived to Mexico, they bring that tradition from Europe, and you can see that in that photo, uh, an old photo from a person making a piñata
Mhm,
that is made with a clay pot.
mhm,
He is covering with he was going to cover with some paper and color
mhm,
paper.
mhm.
So the piñata started like in a religious way, having a meaning of they have 7 points because they represented the 7 sins in the Catholic Church, and
Oh,
they made colorful because that represents like the temptation, and um, and inside the piñata they put candies representing the blessing. So when you break the piñata, you were covering your eyes representing the faith,
wow.
and you were breaking your piñata representing that you were fighting against the badness, and when you break it, it means that you are receiving the blessing of God, because it has a meaning, religious meaning. And now, this after years, this became a traditional celebration, Mexican traditional celebration, and in the past we just did that on Christmas season. But now you can see different forms of piñatas, and you can celebrate parties and that's the meaning. But that's how piñata began. Also, there is a tradition where when you cover your eyes, they ask you, how old are you? And if the children has 8-year-old, they turn 8 times to you, and then you start to break the piñata. That tradition also has its meaning because the meaning became religious. They say, okay, I'm gonna turn you with the blind eyes 33 times because that's the age of where Christ was killed. So that was why the meaning. But now, like, I didn't know that actually until I make some researching. But now in the party just ask you, how old are you? And if you have 6, if the kid is 6, then they turn you 6 times. Or if you are 12, they turn you 12 times. Imagine if you have 33 or something like that.
Yeah.
They don't turn out like that. But yeah, the tradition is to hit with covered eyes and just break the piñata, and everybody is waiting for the candies. And we have a song I will share with you tomorrow. We have a song that we sing every time a piñata is breaking it. And that's something that I didn't see here when I break a piñata with my husband's family. They were like not singing, and I was missing that. but it's something different. I saw it, and I will share with you tomorrow.
Thank you, Gabriela. That is so interesting and fascinating to hear the history.
Thank you.
I'm learning so much. I really, really appreciate it. It's great. And I want to let the class know that the pictures that I was sharing on my screen, I will include those in an email to you so you can look at the pictures later on too.
Sure. Yeah, there are some photos that I share with Lacey that you can see the past of the piñatas and also the actual photos. There is a town in Mexico State that is the north of Mexico City. They are specialized in making traditional piñatas. And one of the photos is the ones that I share with you. And another photo is about a mural of Diego Rivera. Diego Rivera was a famous muralist, Mexican. So you can see also a mural from Diego Rivera in there where it represents how the piñatas were in the past. And you can see some fruits in there because what we used to put in the piñatas were fruit of the season. Some candies, but now we just put candies. We don't put fruit anymore, I think. Maybe sometimes they still do that, but yeah, that was how we used to do. But I think everybody now is finished with their balloon. Yeah. So let's continue with the paper and do the same that you did with your newspaper. Just break it. Yeah. And you can have like this size or like long, but the important is like that you have about 1 inch to 2 inch thicker, and that helps you to cover and have a balloon not so bump.
Is this that flexible cardboard that you were talking about, Gabriela?
No, this could be a grocery
bags,
paper,
okay,
or office paper, or even you can use newspaper too.
Okay.
So just start with like making some small pieces Yeah. Like this. Yeah. So here is my hand. Could be like this. Why you break with your hands and not with the scissors is because the paper has fibers, and when you use your glue, that helps to join to the other paper. If you cut this by scissors, using scissors, and this won't be able to attach to the other paper so easily, so that's why. So let's break some. And here is where your hands will get dirty. So just be sure to have one fabric near of you, just in case you need to clean your hands or answer your phone, and you don't fill everything with engrudo. So let's start. Here is my engrudo, and I'm gonna put this with my hand. I put like cream here, like in both sides. One side will help me to attach to my balloon, the other side will help me to continue to the next layer. So just start covering and continue like you did with the newspaper. You put engrudo in both sides. And you do this kind of pasting in your balloon. The important thing when you are making one piñata is that you don't let the first layer dry. You don't want to let the first layer of water dry, because then the newspaper start to break or fall apart. So you need to cover as soon as you finish. Well, I didn't do now, but it's still wet, so nothing happened. So if you feel comfortable, this is up to the person. If you feel comfortable, do long stripes, it's okay. If you prefer to do shorter, it's okay too. Just will be more time, but also if you do shorter, that will help to make less bump your balloon. So if you use one paper like this, like the grocery store, you will need to make maybe 2 layers. But if you are using newspaper to make the next layer, you will need to make about maybe 4 or 5 layers. So the thicker is your paper, less layers you'll need. But you don't want to use a very thick. Just the thicker will be like some of the grocery store. And I love these activities, Lacey and everybody, because you can recycle your materials, you can reuse it, and that's great. That's a great feeling when you use all the things that you are not wasting, you know. And it's so easy to do it. Just take some time, you can do, and it's therapeutic.
Yes, I think it looks really, really fun. And it's great that a lot of these items are items that we have around our homes.
Yeah, exactly. You
And
don't need more than what you have on your house. Maybe the balloon is the only thing that you have to buy, but also if you have those balls that you can blow easily, you know, those ones that you use on the pool.
Oh, yes.
You can use also that without covering the part where you blow it. When you finish, you can take it off the thing, and then the ball blow it off,
And
you
then-
can blow it off.
Yeah, and then Carol, was it Carol? Yeah, Carol's saying goodbye because she let us know before we began that she had another obligation at 10 o'clock. So we just want to say thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. So yeah, so this is a great way to waste your time, and also it's something that you can do in family, because I remember when I was a child, I did this with my parents and all my brothers and sisters, and everybody was kind of tasting engrudo and paper, and that was so fun.
Did you say tasting or pasting?
Tasting.
Okay.
Maybe you can, but I don't think so.
We don't recommend it.
You will be in the bathroom.
Oh, sure. Probably want to brush your teeth after that one.
No. Okay, so when you have the same advice, when you have this cover, you put backwards and continue with the top until the uncovered section. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like some people are using some cardboard, or not cardboard, I'm sorry, but thicker paper. Some people are using newspaper for the second layer.
Yeah, that's great.
And it looks like everybody's moving along here. I see a lot of balloons being covered up here.
Great.
Yeah.
If you are using newspaper, you can do like double layer at the same time. You put some engrudo between those two layers. You put two layers and then paste it, because you know that if you are using newspaper is thinner, so then you'll take more time. But one trick is to put two layers at the time.
Okay.
But the more layers you do, the most difficult to break is gonna be your piñata. For example, this one that I have here, this has 2 layers, and you can feel it. It's good enough to make all the constructions. But I have made about some piñatas of 4 layers of this, and it's so difficult to break it. Those are for decoration, or maybe for very strong people. But it's difficult. You can be amazed how hard it is to break it. So yeah, this is fun for some kids to do, and also for adults. I enjoy to do that. So for example, here I have a like kind of a bomb. So what I need is just to cover with another paper and do it this. I'm gonna put another paper. So just be sure that you cover very well your layers. And one trick also, for example, when you finish your first layer with this paper brown, what you may want to do is to use a different color paper for the next layer. In that way, you can see where you have covered and where you have not covered.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a nice trick. That's a good tip from Gabby. Yep. So to clarify that again, Gabby said that when you're adding on this first layer of engrudo paper, if for the second layer of engrudo paper, you choose a different color, then you know the difference between that first layer of engrudo paper to the second layer of engrudo paper.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll type that out in the chat as well.
Yeah, thank you. So I will almost finished my first layer, and you'll see that I'm going to continue with a different color paper to see the sample, what I'm talking about. I want to use this white paper on the second layer, so I'm gonna rake it. And continue doing, yeah, okay. You'll see that some papers are more flexible than others. That is the thickness. The thinner is the paper, the more flexible it is. Like this one that I'm putting here is more flexible than the previous one because it's thinner. And also the composition. This is made from cotton, so it's more flexible. The only paper that you don't want to use here is those one that has plastic or those glossy paper that it has another components on their composition, because it's most difficult to paste. So just be sure the paper that you are using doesn't have that glossy finish or some plastic on it. But other than that, you can use any kind of paper you want or you find in your house. And yeah.
This part looks really fun. Everybody's hands are moving and getting a little wet, maybe a little sticky. Oh, I see some hands there.
Yeah. Very good.
Yes. Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the traditional piñatas usually made in Christmas, for Christmas season, for the parties that we do before Christmas. We call them posadas, Posadas.
Mm-hmm.
They start about December 16th, I think,
Mm-hmm.
that or near of that. And the traditional posadas were, well, those are still celebrated, but not like traditional. But the traditional were for the people of the neighbor, everybody come together and they celebrate and they remember Christmas, and they can be with candles singing around the neighborhood, and then they arrive to a spot and they break a piñata and they serve, could be ponche, that is a traditional beverage with fruits inside.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like punch here, but in there we drink hot and with some fruits inside. And some people put alcohol in there, but that's it. It's the party.
Yeah, that sounds really celebratory. And
yes,
you said
a lot of parties in Mexico.
and so traditionally that celebration around the time of Christmas, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious if at other times of the year for other celebrations like birthdays or weddings, if piñatas are used to celebrate those occasions as well?
yes, now we do, but these traditionals
Mhm.
usually used on Christmas. Now the piñatas that are used on the parties, on birthday or another
Mhm.
occasion, now they use like characters or different forms, like plain or whatever forms.
Mhm.
Or in the weddings, you can see some of these traditional, but with colors of like white and
Mm.
golden.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the tradition of going back to the 7 points for the traditional piñata.
Yes.
Yes. Great.
Yeah. Yes. That those are the traditional piñatas.
Mhm. Everyone is really working right along here. I see a lot
Right.
of smiles, a lot of interest. It's great. Yeah.
I'm excited to see
Yeah.
everything here.
Yes, it's really fun to see everybody's progress.
Great. So some of the people are from Viroqua, and some from different states, right?
I believe so. I know that we have a class participant that's coming in from near Minneapolis today. I believe some people are joining us from Milwaukee. I had originally spoken on Friday to some people who were in Colorado. So I don't know if they're here with us today, but they were very interested in being able to watch a recording or see some more information about this.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really great to meet people from other places too, and to see some familiar faces here today as well.
Yeah. Nice to meet everyone. I would
Yeah.
like to, when we finish the workshop, maybe to meet everyone who is here.
Yeah, and then we'll also see, oh, oh, there's someone from Spain. Miguel Santos is joining
Hey,
us from
Miguel
Spain.
Santos. Muy bien.
Great, thanks for letting us know that, Miguel. He says, thank you very much, Gabriela, and keep it up.
Great.
Yes,
Thank you for joining us.
yes, thanks for joining us.
So when you finish your second layer, you want your big bowl, this one that I have here, to rinse out your hands. And then use the trapo or the cloth to dry, just to clean up. Can be a lot of messy. But when you finish your 2 layers with a thicker paper or your 5 layers with newspaper, you want to hang from here. Maybe you can use those pliers that you use for clothes and hang it in a safe place where you know this could be hung. Why you don't leave it like just like this? Because the the balloon it's kind of flexible and will start to to lose the air. So if you leave it like this, the humidity will fall down and it's going to make the balloon pump and break the wet paper. So that's why I recommend just to hang like this.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes,
So
nice. Gabriela, I want to let the class know that Gerardo is joining us from Playa del Carmen, which is in Mexico. Yeah. All right.
Oh, great. Welcome, Gerardo.
Yeah. Thanks for letting us know that.
So here I have I'm gonna show you how to hang this your balloon when you are ready. Imagine you have some uh, like hanger or whatever, could be a rope, could be whatever you have in your house, and put this the end of the balloon like this, and you put kind of you see where the balloon is attached and it's not it's not going to be fall down. How do you say?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, to avoid to fall down. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
I can hang it. I have a strap here, and I can hang it there.
Okay.
I'm going to move the camera, and you can see. You see?
Yes, we can see.
So yes,
Uh-huh.
I have one in my house that try and put it because I'm very sure I couldn't do it.
Uh-huh.
Try and put these for me, and I just hang this. Like it's easy to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there
Okay.
until tomorrow.
Mhm. Gabby, can we go over those steps just one more time? So it's once you've finished the engrudo papering, then you want to hang it so that it can dry.
Exactly. You hang it from the top of your balloon,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that this is pressed, and you can hang it and leave it until tomorrow. And be sure that it's not a place where it has humidity, or if there are humidity in your place where you live, like in Playa del Carmen, what I suggest is to put a fan near of it and let help to dry.
Is it, Gabby, what do you think about keeping it in direct sunlight? Is that something you would do or not do? That would be good.
That's the best way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Direct sun is the best way because the sun will help to dry.
Mm-hmm.
But now here in Viroqua, it's kind of raining, so I don't want to put it outside because will be more humidity.
Yeah, we have a lot of humidity here too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna leave it here inside of your house. If you have a place where to put it, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
If you have humidity outside. And I'm gonna clean up here to make the next step. But I'm gonna wait that everybody finish this step while I clean up here.
Okay, great.
Have a question, let me know.
Okay. And I will pause the recording for a minute. This could be a good break for anyone who needs to finish up their step or take a restroom break or get a snack or some water too.
Great. So, are we ready? Everybody ready? Not yet?
If people could nod their heads, if I can see you, if you can nod your heads yes, or maybe no, or a TikTok for a just about. Or anybody is welcome to write in the chat area as well if you'd like.
Okay, I can see now some people in video. Kaya, Dario, Diana, they are still working on their balloon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we wait for you.
Okay.
Let me see who is. Okay, no, Chiaro is finished. And Gerardo, you finished? Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Ya terminamos.
Ya terminamos, Oshi.
Perfecto. So in the meantime, I'm going to show here the next step. We are going to make the cones. So you will need your flexible cardboard that is here, or cartulina in español. Tape or transparent tape, scissors, and a marker or a pen. That's to make our cones. So I'm gonna wait some minutes to Kia Mary, in order that you finish.
Kava, Mary's wondering how you're doing. Or sorry, Kava, Gabriella's wondering how you're doing. She says, we are putting away balloon. She's asking if we should put away the balloons now and get tape and scissors and construction paper.
Yeah, now you put it away, and remember that I told you you can hang it like this in a hanger, or in some place where you can attach with a rope and hang from here your balloon and put next to you or in a safe place, and clean up your space, because you will need to measure your flexible cardboard and to cut the cones. Now I'm gonna put it here next to me, hang. And these we are going to use until tomorrow.
Great. Okay, great, Gabby. Gabriella, it looks like people are getting their piñatas hung up now.
Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Gabriella, I have a question. Have you ever, or do you think it's okay to, if we set aside the piñatas now, to come back to them after the cone making to apply more paper? Is that something that you've seen done before? If they re-wet the paper, or would that be hard to do?
No, you can continue putting layers. If you feel that it's not soft thick enough for you, you can do it, but with 2 layers of thicker paper, that's enough. Or we can, if somebody hasn't finished, you can hang. If you finish at least the first layer, you can hang it and continue later if you have time.
Okay, great. Thanks for
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that. It probably would be good for us to keep moving on here. So whatever stage you're at, you can continue to apply newspaper and just pay attention to the cones, or we can move on. Well, we will be moving on to the cones. So
great. So I review again. What we need is this flexible cardboard. Yeah, that one that we use in the school. Yeah, and scissors and tape, and I say markers, but you know we won't need these markers now. Just scissors, tape, and flexible marker, flexible cardboard. So this one, you have, if you have a complete sheet, just fold it in a half. You cut it the half. Then again into the half. And I am going to do a count with this size of balloon. If somebody has a bigger balloon, then you may want to measure with what is good for your balloon. But let's do this size, and I will explain you how you can measure in a moment. So half and then a half again, and then you cut it. It doesn't have to be like so perfect, just with your hands and folding the paper. And then I have this like half and half. I think this sheet of cardboard is smaller than that one that I had previously. So I want to measure if my cone is okay. If I fold it like, like making a cone. And I'm going to see with my balloon that I have somewhere. if this is okay for my balloon. We are going to put 5 cones. So be sure that in one side you can be able to put 2. This is big, still big, so I may want to fold this in the half again. So I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like, I'm gonna show you the sample again. We are going to, that is the 5 cones. We are going to make 1 each size. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be the bottom. Yeah. So just measure, like, present to your balloon how big is your balloon, and then measure with your cardboard how big you want your cone. There is not like a recipe that this has to be the length of the cone. Just like, you know, like, remember that after we put the paper, the balloon will look bigger because it gets like some volume after the paper. Like, I'm gonna show you the piñata. This piñata, this is bigger with the paper, so it looks like more or less like that. But so you decide how big your cone is. There is not a recipe that this has to measure some, but just like a trick is to present with your balloon, and you can see how we look. So before you fold it in half, again, you kind of make your cone just to present. I'm not making the final. And see if this counts, it's okay for my balloon here. And I think maybe this is a little bit bigger, so maybe I want to fold it again. I'm going to see. No, maybe I'm gonna leave it like that. So half and a half. So I see in your camera that has more or less like this size balloon. So maybe this size will be okay, half and a half. And we will use 2 cardboards. So you want to cut all your cones. Be sure that you have 5. So will be 1, 2, 3, 4 for each cardboard. So you will need 2 of these. So fold this again, cut it, and fold the other cardboard and cut it again. I guess this is not so confusing, but it's just you kind of measure with your balloon, and we are still measuring, not making the cone. We are just measuring how big it is.
This is a part of an artistic part of it, where you get to decide how large you want the cones to be. Yeah. Also, Gabby, when you go to roll the paper, will you let the class know so that people can look up if they want to see exactly how you're rolling that cone?
Yeah, sure. Now I'm cutting just the measures, and when I finish cutting, I will explain how to blend, yeah, how to roll. At this point, if some people doesn't want to put paper, you may want to paint your balloon like this. I just paint this, and I add this with cardboard and this, but that is not traditional. We are going to make traditional, but I want to show you another option that you can use with a balloon. This was a big balloon. I bought it, I covered the same way, and then I just painted. and I add this. So it's easy. If you want for your kid party, you can do it.
Wow, that was pretty cool, Gabriella. I love seeing that you can take it in a different direction too if you want.
Yeah, exactly. But this is now we are going to make a traditional. So that's the way how we do. The creative form is to choose the colors, to choose the length of your cones, to choose how many peaks they will be. We usually, like I say, the traditional has 7, but we also sometimes use 5 nowadays. And sometimes you cover the center in the photos that I shared to you, Lacey. You can see that some of them has like a metallic center. So sometimes you can cover with that too.
Okay, I will look for those pictures.
So this is the time when you decide how a piñata will be. With 5, with 7, with center, metallic, with what for cycling. So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 6. 6 because I folded up. So I'm going to explain now how to fold the cone. You take one of the corners. Could be, I'm gonna take this corner to make the x-axis of the rolling. And kind of making a point. And you can put your hand inside this other side and roll. Yeah, when you have it, you may want to measure again with your balloon to be sure that's the size that you want. Just be sure that this point, this little point, it's the most tiny that you can. But don't worry if your point doesn't finish like so close. Could be like this. Don't worry. So you can close more and it's perfect. But if not, don't worry. We will cover that with the metallic or the decorated paper. And when you have like this and you measure again with your balloon, and you say, yeah, that's how I want. Then you hold with your hand and with that tape, you put a tape in you put a tape like this. And then put another tape here, another here, just to hold it. You can put like that or also like this. You decide, just to hold it. Let's continue with finish this cone, because if we don't have time, you can like finish the others when you have time. So this, you see that it has a very pronounced peak. If you want your piñata like this, it's okay, but I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut this tail that has here. Just like make it round. You see? will help me to have this kind of surface. Yeah. So after that, I want to cut some of these things. I don't know how to say in English, but something to attach to the balloon.
Great, I see that, Gabriella. Can you hold that up there so maybe people can look at it, a good look at that? So it looks like this next part here is that she's rolled the cones. She's cut off a bit of that excessive point off the end. And now she's taken her scissors and cut in the length way of, or towards the point of the cone. She's cut up around the base. Looks like, would you say 3 inches or so, Gabby? 2 or 3 inches?
Yeah, more or less. It's like what I do is just to have like the length of my scissors, you know, the half of the length of your of these big scissors, and just cut that.
Yep, that looks right.
Okay. And try to, for example, here in this level, it's going up. So try to this dot, it's like in the same level of the circle. Maybe if you don't feel like sure about where to cut, you want to circle with a pen and to know until where you have to cut, like this. But I kind of do just like that, like directly. But it depends if you want to trace before, and then when you have cut, you just do this with your hand. Would you fold it? Like this. And then again, you want to measure with your pinata. If that is okay. Or if it's, what do you think? If this is too long, if you want to reduce the size, you just cut a little bit more and then cut some of these little pieces around it.
I guess maybe I would call those tabs, maybe.
Tabs. Yes, thank you. These tabs and kind of this. If you say like, oh, this is too long, I'm gonna cut a little bit more. You can do it. And if you present into your balloon and it's like very big to your balloon, then you can reduce it and cut the tabs again. So the first cone will help us to measure the others. The important thing is that it has something like maybe 2 inches or at least 1 inch long to can hold it to your balloon. Yeah. So I'm gonna cut these that are very long. Just like 1 inch maybe. Yeah. Do you want we make another to review? Okay. I'm gonna make the other, and if somebody lose some instruction, I'm gonna explain again.
I think that sounds great, Gabriella. And it looks like everyone's working away on their cones and making their tabs as well. And I just want to give the class a heads up that we have about 15 minutes more for the class today, give or take. We just wanted to stay in the time range of 9 to 11 to respect everyone's use of time. If Gabriella is able to go over a little bit, that's great too, but we're just going to go over another cone, and then if you need to, you can finish the cones on your own time, and we'll keep moving forward.
Yeah, you can finish the cones, and tomorrow we will have our balloon ride and our count done. And tomorrow we will continue with the decoration part. And we will use the tissue paper, so have ready your tissue paper and some scissors and markers, and also your metallic or your decorative paper to cover your cones. So I'm going to explain first the second time in this time that we have how to fold the cones again. So you hold the corner of your paper, the longest side if you want, or the shorter. It depends how long you want. So I am going to take the longest side. I'm going to hold it here, and with my other hand, I kind of roll the other part of the cone. And then I'm gonna compare with the other cone, and I see like make more like the same size. And then I paste here in the union with a tape. Could be this tape or transparent tape. It doesn't matter. I prefer this one because it's more flexible.
Oh.
To code while I have an PC. But if there are two people doing, it's easy to code. So here I have my second cone, and what I want to do is to code this at the same level of this. So maybe I want to use my pen here, or if you feel that like confident to code directly, it's okay. So here I trace where I have to cut, and then I use my scissor and I cut around it. When I finish, and I cut that's more or less the half of the length of my scissor that I say. If not, if you don't feel confident again, you can trace around the cone where you want to cut. When you cut, you fold like this with your hands, one by one. And then you have a nice head. So now we have we have 10 minutes, I think, 15 minutes to finish. I don't know if there are some questions.
There is one question, Gabriella. It's about the supplies for tomorrow. Do we need to keep our engrudo?
Okay, yeah, good question. Keep your engrudo in the fridge in a container with a lid. And before warm up in the microwave with the lid a little bit open, so don't split your microwave. And warm it about 1 minute and mix it again, like make it like, because it's gonna get thicker. But still we can use it like that. Just I recommend to warm it like a little bit because it's gonna be very cold to use it. And tomorrow, maybe it's a good question to review what we will need for tomorrow. We will need your tissue paper, different colors. I suggest like at least 6 or 7 different colors. You will need your scissors. You will need your marker or your pen. And your this tape. And you will need the decorated paper or something that you use to cover your presents, that kind of paper, or if you have a color paper, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. You can reuse that paper too.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can maybe cut in order that you have a long paper. That balloon has like 2 layers, so you can cut in a half and put it like in a layer. And what else?
The rope, maybe?
Yeah. One rope like this one,
Uh-huh.
or if you have a thinner, just like those. So this is just to put this stand. So we will, and also we will use a piece of cardboard or of this flexible cardboard if you have some, to do this part in the top.
Okay.
We can do it now, or I can explain now how to do this to have it ready. But we are going to use it tomorrow. So I think until we have the balloon dry, we can measure this part. And that's it. Tomorrow is the decoration part. And we are going to use our tissue paper. Just think very well what contrast do you want to use. If you want to go through the internet and check piñatas to give you some ideas of contrast, remember that our contrast, if you want more colors, like a complementary color that could be like orange and green, for example.
I do have some pictures I could share, Gabby, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Of the ones you sent me? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Lacey can share some.
Yeah, these are.
You to have some ideas about what colors to use, or if you have already your your tissue paper that you bought, it's okay. We can see tomorrow how you can use the best way, the best contrast. I can see each one of you what colors you have, and I can suggest some. And that's it. What I do sometimes is to have like light colors and dark colors, and that will give like kind of that piñata that Lacey is sharing, for example, that has that dark purple and that light yellow, and that gives like more contrast and more depth to the piñata. And well, I think we are like in need of the time. I don't know if there are another question.
Yeah, I don't want to make anyone feel rushed either. Just want to let us know that we're around that time frame that we originally set. There's certainly time for questions, and do we know how to attach these cones to the piñata? Are we using tape to do that?
We are going to use the engrudo tomorrow.
Oh, engrudo tomorrow. I see. Okay. Okay.
Now that you asked, we also will need one brush like this, or one wood flat, and that help us to paste like kind of this, because we don't want to get our hands dirty, because we are going to touch the tissue paper. So that's why we need this.
A paintbrush, maybe a sponge. Would a large sponge work too?
Yeah,
do you think
that's kind of a stick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's everything that we need for tomorrow. So you finish your cones. Remember, it has to be 5 cones. So,
5.
We'll see you tomorrow with your balloon dry and your 5 cones ready. All
great.
To cover with that metallic paper.
I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. So if anyone has any other questions, or if we want to say goodbye.
This is great.
Yeah.
We're enjoying it very much. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, this is so fun. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it. What's your name?
Bella.
Isabella,
Isabella. Nice to meet you, Isabella. Thank you for joining.
thank you for doing this. And then what is your youngest sister's name?
Gabby.
They have a Gabby at
Ah,
home, too.
nice.
Beautiful name.
¿Por qué no lees? Ay, así te ves más.
Thank you, Gabriela. We are looking to build this piñata. It's for my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's great.
Digan, gracias, Gaby.
Gracias, Gaby.
What time is the Zoom?
Gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias, Gaby. Thank you for everyone. Gracias.
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 Gracias. Bye bye.
What time
Adios.
tomorrow?
Adiós.
Hey, I like that balloon cover.
Adiós, Poche.
Thank you.
Adiós.
Adiós, Poche.
Adiós.
Adios.
Adiós. Bye. ¿Cómo le llamo?
Abuelito. Hola, Miguel.
See you tomorrow at 9.
The class,
Hola.
Remember, there is a different link tomorrow, right, Tracy?
class is at 9 a.m. from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to be using a different Zoom link, which is in the same location that you found this first Zoom link, except it will say
Saluden a Camila, no sé si anden por ahí.
Ciao, hasta la mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Vamos.
Mañana.
Hasta mañana, amigo.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Poche, adiós.
Thank you, Gabriela. Went very well.
Gracias. Thank you.